Hello and welcome back to Games Embassy with the Ambassadors of Gaming. I'm one of your two hosts, Ambassador Chris.
And I'm Ambassador Michael.
And we have news about stuff. But first, I have been having quite a good week, Michael.
Why is that? What have you been doing this week that has made it so good?
Because I've been playing Kingdom Hearts 3. I love how you texted me with no context talking about the game or anything. You just texted me, it's really real. With no context.
Yeah. There was no context. It just was there.
You just knew what I was doing.
It was enjoyable. I finally got through it. So anyways, so it's been a good week. Kingdom Hearts exists. It's finally out. So now we can not bother anybody with our love of it, apparently. And that's that. Have you played the Anthem demo this weekend?
I didn't play it this weekend, but I played the VIP demo last weekend.
Okay. I was just curious because I made it like 2 seconds in and I was like, I just don't care. So maybe I should try playing it with you. Yeah.
Really? Justin and I liked it. Justin and I really liked it.
Because I played it by myself and I was like, I don't want to do this. It might also be because I was at like the end of Kingdom Hearts and I was like, I just want to beat that.
Exactly. You were probably... That was like me with Twilight Princess. I got Twilight Princess HD for Wii U, but right before I started playing that, I started playing Breath of the Wild. And then I was like halfway through Breath of the Wild and I went to start Twilight Princess and I was like, man, this game is not Breath of the Wild. So I just don't want to play it.
So, I don't know. I'll try it out again later today, maybe. Because we still got today, I guess, until the demo ends. So, we're recording on the Sunday. So, we still have time to play it. But that's pretty much all we've been up to during the week. Wanted to let y'all know we are indeed still doing the Patreon. We have a Patreon. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. You can get great stuff over there. Early access, questions, things like that. Podcast goes up over there on Monday. It goes live everywhere else on Wednesday. And on Patreon, it's always ad-free. So if you would like to get in on that, get comments, questions, concerns read, you can do so over there.
Give us your money.
Please. I'm still hungry.
I'm so hungry. I'm recording this in the dumpster.
I'm using my neighbor's Wi-Fi. No, I'm just kidding. I still have a roof.
Yeah, for now. All right, going to the news. So, Pioneer. Remember that game? We talked about it, I think, last week, talking about how it was killed off. Yeah, apparently it hasn't been killed off. It just had its skin ripped off and is being put onto a lifeless mannequin. According to a report from Kotaku's
Wonderful.
Jason Schreier, there's still a project called Pioneer in development. It's just really different now. Quote from him, quote, "Old Pioneer is dead. Pioneer's half-undead brother is here." It sounds like Pioneer has been repurposed and kind of rebooted, which isn't exactly something too far-fetched from what we normally see in game development.
Indeed. The second piece of news updates we have is the leak and announcement for Darksiders War Mastered Edition coming to Switch. The remastered first game is coming to Switch and is the last modern console to receive the game. This is not a collection, however, it is just the first game. So you'll probably get the second one at some point too.
Sorry, I totally just zoned out for a moment. Yeah, I'm great at doing what I'm here to do. Ironically enough, even though this is in the updates, this is actually the lack of an update. Super Mario Party for Switch is actually still running on version 1.0, which is really weird. The Switch versions, it's the Switch entry of Mario Party that people were, I guess, kind of excited for, since they finally brought a version of online to it through mini games. Like, you can go play mini games online, you just can't do the story or the board game mode online. But this is really uncommon in this day. Most of the games we see now have a day one patch, or even a patch like just shortly after from someone breaking the game or something. Best example, Far Cry 4.
Far Cry 4 had a day one patch that you had to have, otherwise you couldn't mess with the field of vision. I had to introduce myself to that. That was fun and interesting. The last piece of update news here is on PS5 speculation. So PS5 games are currently under development, according to Nyko Partners analyst Daniel Ahmad. Ahmad wrote on Reset Era, yeah, he sounds like he's a nice guy. Anyways, to quote him, PS5 dev kits are out there, and I've heard positive things about it, but I wouldn't expect any information in the immediate future, end quote. He also stated that Sony plans on moving some unannounced titles either to PlayStation 5 completely or making them cross-generation. So that could be fun.
Speaking of the PS5, we are going to go straight in to our latest news story, or to our first big news story. Sony patents a mechanism that should allow the PS5 to have native backwards compatibility. Filed in Japan, Sony applied for a hardware patent, which will allow the console CPU to determine what generation the software originally ran on. If it identifies a software as using a different CPU, then it will impersonate the older CPU. This would allow the software to run as it would on the original CPU that it was designed for, which is basically like a native emulator, which is very similar to how Xbox does its backwards compatibility as well. From our understanding, though, if this is really what we think it is, it should allow more than just PS4 games to play on PS5, but we still don't know.
Because the PS3 architecture is the one that's like really, really difficult to emulate. That's why they're...
That's because the PS3 architecture is bad.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad.
Seriously, it's really crazy. The PS4, as much as we complain about Orbis OS, the PS4 is actually, its programming is really solid. The operating system is designed really sturdy, and the same thing with the PS2. Even the PS2 has some really solid design, but for some reason the PS3 just didn't have that. It's just bad.
Yeah, they went with a different chipset, and that chipset is just awful. Doesn't translate well when trying to make games, and so that's why it's still a pain in the ass. I was just saying the CPU on this sounds like it could be a very interesting thing. It sounds like, so it's a hardware patent, sure, but also, I don't know, obviously the CPU itself is not going to like transform into a different CPU. It will just emulate the older CPU and the way that older CPU ran. And we're at the point now where a lot of the consoles that we use and a lot of the things that we use in general run on the same chipset. The Switch, I think Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation all run on AMD chips for their CPU. I could be wrong. I'd have to look into it. But I know for sure that a mixture of the base PS4, PS4 Pro, Xbox One S, X, and Switch, at some variation, have AMD chips. And so it would make sense that if the PS5 or whatever the Xbox is run on an advanced version of whatever that chip is, that chip just goes, oh, it looks just like my older variation. I can emulate and do that. So that's good, though, because... No, go ahead. I'm done.
I would like to point out that we've seen something very similar to this in the PS3, being able to had something built in to allow it to play PlayStation 2 games. However, that piece of technology was cut out of later editions of the console to bring the price point down. So that almost makes me worry that this will go the same way. Like, yeah, you can buy this console and play your PS4 games, but then later versions of the console just won't have it.
That's a valid point. I think what might end up happening is that they just do what they did with the PS4 and understand that even when the base PS4 came out, it was all right. So it was more powerful than the PS3, obviously, but by standards, by the time the PS4 and the Xbox One originally came out, they were like considered vastly underpowered compared to the PCs at that time, and especially now. So I think if they're smart about the way they design it and the components they put into it, they could probably still hit like a 400, 450 price point, which is hopefully where they're at. I really don't think it's a good idea to launch at 500 again, The reason why that works with the X is because you have an S counterpart that runs at 300. So you have, the base one that normal everyday people can get into, and then the one that people who are power hungry can grab onto as well. But if your PS5s are all right, like me and you like having those nicer things. We both have X's and we both have Pros. So, if we were in a scenario where the base PS5, just that's it, is 500, I don't know if that's necessarily a great idea. But also the PS4 vastly outsold the PS3, so there's a much bigger demand for there to be backwards compatibility, I think, on PS5 than there is PS4. So, because also, all right, let me put it this way. If PS5 can natively run PS4 games and backwards compatibility, and it can do so digitally, which I'm assuming it will, just like, the Xbox does with the 360 games, just add it to your library, you just boot it up, boom, it's there. That would give people a lot of incentive to trade in their PlayStations. Trade in their PS4s. Like, why would I need my PS4 if I could just play PS4 games on PS5? Which would put a pretty significant dent, because you can usually get up to like $200-$300 depending on sales and promotions for your consoles. So, which would bring it down to like $300, which is more reasonable, I think.
I don't know. I'm still skeptical.
You're just torn on.
I don't think it should. I think it should be an option. Or I don't think it should be an option. I think that it should just be there to stay and not take it out to lower the price down, because then people getting a new version maybe don't pay attention to that, and the next thing you know, the PS4 games that I was playing, can't play them all of a sudden. So, right. But I think that's everything we have to say on this matter. Let's go ahead and move on to our next piece of news.
Oh boy, it's another mobile game. Joyous.
Yay.
So there's a new Tony Hawk game, and it's apparently really terrible, really bad. That's the only thing I've really seen on it. So Tony Hawk's Skate Jam was recently released on mobile, and it did not particularly go well with its players. The touch controls in skateboarding apparently didn't mix very well. So I read from our friend Crispy, he was been on our show previously, that I wish I could quote him. Go ahead and tell me how you feel about this real quick so I can quote him, because his quote is hilarious.
I mean, touch controls are always a really steep slope. You've seen it work really well with Fortnite. They somehow made it work, but apparently in this case, I don't know. I feel like touchscreens are very limited. Like, you see the Kingdom Hearts game, and the combat in the Kingdom Hearts game is really not challenging.
All right, so I found his quote because I thought it was pretty funny. He said, the Tony Hawk Skate Jam mobile game was painful to look at, listen to, and play. I hope some angel out there has the decency to remove it from the related store soon.
Oh my gosh.
It's pretty bad.
Settle down, Crispy. Jeez.
That's kind of his shtick, though. Yeah, that is his thing. So, but anyways, so the game is apparently terrible. I don't play mobile games, so I'm not even going to waste my time downloading it, to be honest with you. So, just don't do it. Don't play it. And don't put crappy ports of mobile games for franchises that people actually know on mobile. Just stop it.
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to make it work.
I don't have a problem with trying to make it work. It's just that this is clearly half-assed kind of stuff.
Well, I don't know. I think we'd have to play it in order to make that assumption, because we haven't played it. But, I think it all depends on how they make it work.
I guess. I felt the same way about Blackout, though. About the Alien game.
I liked Blackout.
No, not Blackout, the Call of Duty game. Blackout, the Alien mobile game.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry. Still, same thing.
Forgot about that.
Come on, you don't really need to do this, do you? Anyways, that's all I have to say on mobile games. I think we're done with that one. So we can go on to the last piece of news. The biggin.
The biggin. So, basically, there is a new Battle Royale challenger approaching. If you're making a shocked gasp sound, you shouldn't, because everyone and their grandma is trying to make a Battle Royale game. It's nothing special. And it's everything special. Who knows? So according to leaks, rumors, and of course Kotaku's Jason Schreier, EA is releasing a free-to-play Titanfall Battle Royale game. This game is called Apex Legends, and it features hero abilities in replacement of Titans. One source stated, quote, "It plays like Titanfall mixed with Overwatch and Blackout from Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Schreier points out that Respawn might have wanted to switch over to a different engine for Titanfall 3, as it was originally planned to release at the end of 2018, but they were worried it, quote, might not feel or look as good as if it came out too much later, end quote. Battle Royale game, Apex Legends, the game is expected to launch as a free-to-play and go about funding through microtransactions and loot boxes, a departure from what we're used to seeing from Titanfall. Anything with EA and loot boxes, sign me up, man. This is where it's at. Yeah.
Here's the worst part. I think this will actually be good. And I think it might actually do decently well. But, like, the Battle Royale thing is so saturated in terms of, like, it's very much just what we were talking about a long time ago with Call of Duty. Like, when Call of Duty came out, Call of Duty 4 came out, it was around the time Halo 3 came out. So Halo 3 came out, Call of Duty 4 came out, and then Battlefield started. And it was like you had to choose what kind of, you were going to play and who you were going to play with. That's kind of how Battle Royale is. Like, people just pick one and stick with, that's the game they play. So, I don't know how this is going to go. It could also be really crappy. I don't think it will, though, because if it's made by Respawn, we like Respawn games. They generally do very well. So,
Titanfall 2 was an outlier.
Yeah, it didn't do well, but that was EA's fault.
They released at a bad time. But Titanfall, we praised Titanfall. The movement is very fast paced and quick. We think one of the reasons that Black Ops 3 didn't do so well was because we saw that they were trying to put Titanfall's quick and speedy movements into Call of Duty, and it just wound up being a little clunky. It didn't feel smooth. But Titanfall is a very smooth feeling game. The movement is very good. The wall running, the double jumping, the grappling, it's really solid. So as for Titanfall 3, I am super pumped to see how that's going to go. As for Apex Legends, I am very willing to give it a shot, especially because it's free to play. And like you said, that's a really big point, because now we have all these battle royale games. I mean, Call of Duty isn't exclusively a battle royale game, but let's be real. A lot of people are playing Blackout, and they charge for that. So you have to make that choice of, like you said, this genre is super saturated. So if you want a chance to really, leave a footprint in the sand with everyone else around walking through, I think that going free to play is the way to go, as long as they don't drown us with microtransactions like EA has been known to do.
Yeah, I'm all about the pass too. I like the pass system that's kind of becoming a thing. Like this, it's a season pass, but it's not a season pass. Like, it's a season pass, but it's not DLC. It's like costumes and skins and dumb shit like that. That's starting to become the trend too. So I'm curious to see if they'll opt to put that in as well as doing costumes and skins and stuff like that and loot boxes. So, but by the time you're hearing this, you may already have the game, because it's supposed to stealth launch tomorrow. So on Monday. So by the time you're hearing this, it might already be out. We might actually already have impressions out, because I do plan on doing impressions. I'm just going to pop that up on the YouTube channel. It's been a while since we did like an impressions video, and it could be fun.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely download it. I want to give it a try,
right,
just to say that I did.
I think we can support Respawn on that. I also don't think we're getting Titanfall 3 for probably a little bit, because we're getting the Jedi game, whatever, right, Fallen Order or whatever it's called. We're getting that this year. So it's going to be a while till we get Titanfall, so I could use my fakes, I guess. And I think that'll probably do it.
Yep. That's going to be it for us here. Try and check us out at least once a week. That's how often we try and do this. And we're going to go ahead and get out of here. I am Ambassador Chris.
And I'm Ambassador Michael.
And we'll see you next time.
Goodbye, friends.
We're gone.